Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Barnett.
Never worked in a coal mine. Never thumbed my way across a state line. Never sat alone, cried into my beer. So how can I tell you what you wanna hear? Never been in a bar fight. Never shot a man just to watch him die. Can't say I felt the devil drawing near. So how can I tell you what you wanna hear? But I've slept in my car. I've closed down my fair share of bars. I've been laid off and let down, cheated on and pushed around. I've had my share of heartbreak, but not more than I could take. Never rode in a boxcar. Never paid my rent playing my guitar. Never been the kind to live my life in fear. So how can I tell you what you wanna hear? Now I'm down to my last dime, so I'll take it home one piece at a time. I've been put down and put out. I've had my worries and my doubts, and I've had my share of heartbreak. But that don't always make for a good song.
Nice.
Way better than you.
From Bad Monkey Studios in beautiful Amish country, heard throughout these fabulous United States and around the globe on the World Wide Web, this is The B Team with Cory and Jim.
Bob.
Impressive stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
good
thank you.
stuff.
Good. It was
Thanks
good.
a lot.
Eric Barnett, Eric's first full-length album, Shipwreck in a Bottle, is coming out January 23rd. Eric is a factory worker, the son of a car salesman and a school teacher. He lives in the place where he's from, Galion, Ohio, a small Midwestern town where the Great Lincoln Highway cuts through the heart of the state, a town that saw its boom, bust, and gradual decline, just like so many other Rust Belt towns. So welcome, Eric. Thank you so much.
thank
Let's
you.
get this out of the way right now. Eric and I are not related at all. Okay, don't get confused by all this going
How
on.
dare you? That's a good-looking man right there. You? No. Not so much. Not so much.
We bearded guys stick together.
See,
I wish.
told you.
I wish I could.
You know, you see a guy with another guy with a beard across the room, you kind of give him a nod.
that's
Give him that
right.
Look like, you're okay, I'm okay.
It's like the Jeep thing, you know?
Yeah.
Give him a little head nod, winking the gun.
No, I've done that Jeep thing before. It doesn't work because my wife has.
You know, well, no, I think it's a Wrangler. I think they say it's a Jeep thing, but I think it's a Wrangler thing, you know?
Really?
I don't know. I'm not for sure, but
See, because I was trying it, I was waving.
yeah, nobody's
I was
giving me
waving like a
anything.
Hell's Angels for a while. I was going crazy. Well, we can hear those influences of yours, Eric. Tom Waits, Neil Young, Randy Newman, Tom Petty, Lennon McCartney, Jim Croce, Warren Zevon, and as it says on your website, yet your style is still your own, which is very true.
Yeah, I wish I could sound a little bit more like those guys, but every time I play, that's what comes out. So.
Yeah. So, Dad, Mom and Dad are still around, and
They're still around. They're not together, but they're still around.
yep.
Yeah.
Again, welcome to The
Yeah.
flyover states.
Yeah, Mom's still teaching school at Northmore. That's where I went to high school.
Oh, nice.
I actually went to high school with Emma Woods, who appeared on this show with you guys.
Yeah. Did you know that? Yeah. He told me
That's
that.
awesome.
Same graduating class.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, when I was scheduling him to come on, he's like, I'm watching the Emma Woods show right now.
Really?
As a matter of fact, yeah.
That's crazy.
So that was awesome.
Small world.
Yeah. Let's talk about the album first and foremost. Shipwreck in a Bottle. What's that title from, and where's that come from?
It's a lyric from a song I wrote called "Slow Sip of Whiskey." It's a song I wrote for my wife. We dated 5 years before we got married, and then took another 7 to write her a song. So it took 12 years to write her a song. I move a little slow. But, I was watching. Do you remember Sports Night? Remember that show, Sports Night?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
I was watching that show, and a guy told the girl he was courting, "You're like a slow drink of whiskey." And I thought, wow, I could steal that and write a whole song around it. So, yeah, that's a song I wrote for my wife, and that's a line out of it, and it's pretty appropriate to her and us and my life and this record. So that became the title.
How long you guys been married?
Oh man. Let me see. I'm going to do math right now. Oh, yeah, we're going on 10 years. This will be 10 years.
Wow.
That's
Congrats.
You're in your 10th year right now.
Yes,
right.
That's correct. November.
Right. She also a galleon girl.
September.
September.
Yeah. She's from Bluffton, Ohio, about an hour north of Lima.
Okay.
Good. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. How'd you two meet up?
We met in a bar. I had already I'd gone to school at Bowling Green, and I dropped out, and I was still in a band from there, and we were playing in a bar, and it was her freshman year there at Bowling Green, and a couple friends had taken her out for her birthday, and I was a lot better looking, had a lot more hair back then, and somehow she liked what she saw, and it all went from there.
Yeah, I married up too, so I know what you're talking about. I married.
That's
way
the way
up.
to do it, man.
Yeah,
You fool them right off the bat, and then you got to kind of keep that illusion going until you lock it down, and then you're
That's
good.
right. We got 13 years in, and but I'm going to start telling her the truth about stuff pretty soon.
Oh,
so,
okay, that's
so
dangerous.
Well, you had a good run. You know,
Good luck.
Good run.
We did. Any kids?
No
Got any
kids.
little
We
ones?
have 2 cats. That's it for us.
2 cats. What kind of cats you got?
They're small and furry. I don't.
No, I'm not a cat guy.
Domestic short hair. That's
Oh,
what you
we-
call that.
Yeah. We have a girl cat who's mine, and we
there
have
you
a
go.
guy cat that's hers, and we're those weird people that are out in our front yard walking a cat on a leash.
I tried that. It didn't go well for me. Was it a long process for you?
One cat won't do it at all. One cat
that's how mine
won't
is.
go outside. She's fine looking out windows and barking at birds, but the other cat is. I think when you asked what kind, I think he's half dog, because you walk him on a leash. He rolls on his back and wants his belly petted. What kind of cat
Really?
does that?
Nope.
So
Yeah.
he plays fetch.
Yeah.
So yeah,
My cat does that.
we have a cat dog, or a dog masquerading as a cat.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are our kids.
Yeah, I was never a cat guy until my kid, my oldest boy, he wanted one. That's all he talked about. Drove us nuts until we finally got one. And I don't know how long they live. I was hoping for like 5 and out.
No.
5
Nope.
or 6 and out.
Nope.
No. This thing is just hanging.
It'll outlive you.
on. Yeah.
There's no doubt.
Oh, they can last. The hateful ones last longer.
Yeah.
I mean, if you and that cat don't have a good relationship,
No, we don't.
oh man, dig in. You're there for a long time.
But I do. I will always try to impress people because I can recognize a tabby. That's the orange one, right? That's the Garfield cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever I see one of those, I'm like, hey, boys, tabby.
That's what I got. That's
Yeah,
what mine
so
is.
I sound like Steve Irwin or, well, let's see.
No, because that would be
Hanna.
Australian.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Jack Hanna. That's
Jack Hanna.
maybe a little more appropriate. But
Yeah, since he's alive. So, excuse me, had to wet the whistle there. Your song titles.
Yeah.
I really like your song titles, and I'll tell you, you can go to Eric's website. It's ericbarnettmusic.com.
Yeah.
You can go on there, and he actually was nice enough to put some music samples on there, right? And you do have a YouTube video.
Yes. Yeah.
Of one of the tunes.
Got a YouTube page. Got quite a few up there, actually. But
Graveyard, Country Resume, High Road, Slow Sip of Whiskey, and 4 a.m.
Yeah.
That sounds dangerous right there, 4 a.m. Slow Sip of Whiskey. I think I decided that was my favorite one.
Okay.
Slow Sip of Whiskey. I think so.
It's the one I'm most proud of at the moment.
Okay.
I'm the kind of guy who's not really proud of what he does. You know, everybody really tears apart everything they do, but after 12 years of writing my wife a song, I can look back on it and say, okay, yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, right. The songwriting process, I mean, it sounds like it's something. Do you have to rip that out of yourself, or is it like anything else? Some come easy, some take longer.
Oh, nothing's easy.
Yeah,
I've only had one easy song come out of me. I have a friend in Cincinnati that he's so prolific. He can write a song a week and none of it's filler. It's all just so good. It's all right on the nose, hits you right in the gut. For me, it's tough. These songs, there's 10 songs on the record, and it's taken 5 years. I mean, one song I was driving home from work, and the entire song popped into my head. I was driving, so I didn't have a guitar. Chords and all popped into my head. And I was on third shift, got home, went to bed. That night, went to an open mic night, and the first time I ever played that song was in front of people. Like, hadn't practiced.
Really?
And I don't know how that happened, but that's never happened again. I'm chasing the dragon on that ever since. It's the right kind of sleep deprivation, caffeine,
just blackout mode.
I know, and that's what people don't realize is like even Springsteen has famously said that I think it was Born in the USA.
Yeah.
It was like 2 years. And he said like 10 notebooks filled.
Really?
It took him to write that song. And when you listen to a good song, it always seems so basic.
Oh yeah.
It's like, wow, I can do this. This isn't complicated at all.
But
when
musicians could.
Well, yeah.
Easy there.
Yeah.
Well, certain ones can. I'm real big into Tom Waits, and I have a buddy that we listen to a lot of Tom Waits music. And a lot of his stuff is so simple and so understated, and he'll throw down a line that's like, what made that work? How did that simple line become poetry? And if I ever figure that out, I'm going to write a book on it and come back on here and share my millions with you.
Now, is it like writing, Cory and I write maybe not jokes, but funny observations, that sort of thing. Is a whole story come from like one word or one line, or like you said on you were watching a TV show, and that quote that he had, and then you kind of built a song around that.
A lot of the time, yeah. Actually, every song on this record, I had one song that was written by a buddy of mine for me, and one song that we co-wrote together. But every song on this record is autobiographical. One thing, and it's something I just can't do. I can't write a song about something I don't know about. I can't write a hypothetical song. I self-edit a lot. Anytime that I write a song that I feel like you're just writing that to have a song. You don't have something to say. You're writing that to have a song. That I shut it down. It's time to shut it down at that point. There's a lot of people out there who their end goal is, I want this to be popular. I want this to be on the radio. And a lot of them are extremely successful, and kudos to their success. I'm not good looking enough to make that happen. I can't write a song with a lot of la la la's and lovey doveys and have the look and the voice to make that work.
Yeah.
So I just
Now,
got to do what I can do.
So is there a pretty good gap? Is there a separation between singer and songwriter? Because a songwriter, someone who calls themselves a songwriter, I should be able to go up to that person and say, hey, I just discovered I love men. Write me a song about loving men. You know, and you should be able to take that and run
Paul
with
Schaefer
it,
wrote "It's Raining Men."
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's. I mean,
Done and done.
done and done.
We don't need any more.
Yeah.
Right. He'll get you there. He'll.
No, but you know what I'm saying,
Oh,
right? I
sure,
mean,
yeah.
it might be it's completely out of your wheelhouse, but you
It
can still
kinda
put it
is.
together
It's-
because once you figure out is it a template? Do you think there's a template involved, or there shouldn't be?
I think that if you are, I mean, it depends what the end goal is. If I'm setting out to write a pop song, and if you look in the album credits these days, a lot of the pop songs that are on the radio, there's 5 or 6 writers. It's almost by committee. You know, it's like a factory. It's like building something. But I don't know. For me, I don't have a template yet. If I ever discover one, I might
Right.
have more songs.
Right. Because that's, again, all I can do is talk about what Cory and I do.
Yeah.
Writing things, and it's kind of like, the template would be set up, joke.
Yeah,
Set up, joke.
Right.
But there's really not a lot of that in songwriting. Well, in the pop songs, there.
Oh,
seems to
sure.
be.
I mean, when I went to college, I studied music theory, and a lot of what I learned in music theory, you could write a song kind of by template. You really could. There's things you learn about chords and keys, and if you start out in a certain chord structure, if you go to this chord structure, that gives you a chorus. Okay, we need a bridge here. We can take it to this minor key. You could. You could. For better or for worse, that's never worked for me.
Yeah.
I'm informed by the music theory I had in college. If I get in a tight spot and need to work my way out of it, knowing a little bit of that has helped, but I don't know. I just don't do it that way.
You prefer using the heart.
Sure.
Now, as a musician, this is interesting because I tickle the cat guts a little bit
Yeah.
myself with the guitar, and can you tell when someone is playing from the heart or when someone is just technically proficient?
Who am I to judge that, though? I can certainly see if somebody's technically proficient. You can spot that, and that's not bad either. I mean, I've seen plenty of people who only know 3 chords that make those 3 chords just knock you out.
Angus Young,
Sure,
my boy.
yeah. I had a buddy always said, if you know one AC/DC song, you know the other one.
It's okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, they
Yeah.
punch you every time.
Oh,
They
man.
bring it. They
Yep.
bring the ruckus. I can't. And then at the same time, there's plenty of people who can play a million miles an hour.
Ingve Malmsteen
Yeah,
comes to mind.
and I mean
Yeah.
that's good too. It's good. It's, again, I don't want to sound judgy. I don't want to. I have a buddy that we call that juggling fire.
Yeah.
And if you want to, and honestly, when you're in a club, juggling fire gets you way farther than singing your quiet, lyric-driven, emotional song.
Yeah.
Because when you're drinking, a little fire juggling goes a long way.
Yeah.
Well, you clearly have heart because you kind of walked away from this once, didn't you? You had a little success and walked away. Maybe not walked away.
Well,
Life got in the way, maybe.
yeah, absolutely. That's
Talk about that. Start back then.
okay.
How that
I
happened.
worked in a factory for 13 years. I worked for General
God love you
Mills.
there, brother.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that a little bit myself.
Mm-hmm.
And they paid me great. Benefits were great, so great. That's what kept me there. The pay, the benefits, but everything in life's a trade off. And for making that kind of money, and I traded my time. I worked a lot of 12-hour shifts. Earlier on, I worked a lot of 16-hour shifts. Really couldn't plan a lot of stuff ahead of time. So a lot of booking shows and playing shows is knowing months in advance what days you're going to have open. And And there was a time I made kind of a run for it. I adopted this moniker. I went under Whiskey Heart. I played as that because I always felt like weird putting my name on stuff. Like, nobody's gonna want a shirt with my name on it. I feel real weird about that. So I kind of put on this moniker of Whiskey Heart and went out and played a lot of shows. And I can't really say I was extremely successful, but I played a lot of shows and I had a great time. You know, saw a lot of people the second time into town. They remembered me from the first time, but like you said, kind of life gets in the way. There's only a certain amount of hours in the day, and when work picked up, I kind of had to pull back on the music.
Yeah.
In the more recent history, actually, the factory I work for got bought out by another company, and I had the option of continuing on with the new company or kind of taking a severance package and going my own way, and that's the route I took.
Okay. And now you've
Full-time music or a
dived in.
musician? Or?
Actually, right at the moment, we're transitioning to South Carolina. My wife's family moved there a couple years ago. They love it. My wife, Andrea, she likes warmer weather. She kind of talked me into it, saying, you know, there might be a little bit more places to play music down there, and maybe you can see if at least you can get a part-time job and see if there's any water in that well. So it's something I'm going to try out.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, when Eric first got here, we kind of did our little meet and greet and talk and that sort of thing. And he told me that he was in the process of moving to South Carolina. And I said, oh, you know, is there a growing music scene there? That sort of thing. He said, no, I got a wife. So
I was going to say South Carolina is the new Memphis. You know, I mean, it's just
it's what they say. You know, like Atlanta. If you want to do anything, you want to make movies.
Oh yeah,
that's
a big one now. Sure,
that's huge now.
I feel like there's a lot of little places like that, or not little, but big places other than like L.A. or New York's blowing up just for certain stuff.
Cleveland is exploding.
You start cutting people tax breaks and they'll
start
making
movies.
Yeah, Detroit.
Actually, my buddy lives in Cincinnati, and Tom Waits is there right now making a movie. So
really,
like all kinds of people. Yeah, Tom Waits just walked into a music store and then what guitar did he touch? Just anything he touched. Just sell me what he touched. So yeah, Cincinnati's going to start being that way too.
Is he doing any shows while he's there? Do you know?
I don't believe so. Not unless he kind of sneaks into a place.
Oh, yeah.
But wouldn't that be the thing?
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
You just get done with a hard day of work, and you just want to, you know, wash away some of the dust before you go home. And who's that?
He seems like the kind of guy who would do that too. Just kind of sneak into a place.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I don't own anything that he's made, that he's put out. I don't, but I'll watch him every time he's like on television, or I'll listen to something if it's on the radio.
He's kind of hard to get into. There's a learning curve with Tom Waits, and he has kind of three phases of his career that went three radically different directions. But kind of once you get your you know, approach route into his music figured out, it's hard to climb out after that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who it is you sound like. I've been beating my brain the whole time sitting here, and I can't pull it up. Hopefully, I will. Before
sounds like a dude named Eric Barnett.
Yeah, that's it. Well, everybody else is going to be sounding like him,
right?
The type of. And I can understand the Tom Waits, the Neil Young, and the Tom Petty. Where you threw me was the not Warren Zevon, Randy Newman.
Yeah, what I love about Randy Newman. And actually, I'll kind of put him together with a Tom Waits or a Bob Dylan, or not what anybody would consider to be a fantastic singing voice.
Yeah,
sure. But if you forget about the sort of Pixar stuff, the animated soundtrack stuff Randy Newman's kind of known for these days, and you go back to his earlier stuff because he actually was a songwriter. Mm-hmm. You know, he'd sit in a room with a piano, you give him an assignment, he brings you a song. But in that, he wrote some fantastic songs.
Short people have no reason to live.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And he also does.
I love L.A.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
He does another thing where they kind of made fun of him on Family Guy for it once. I don't remember if you saw that. I don't know if you saw that, where it was post-apocalypse and he's just sitting there at a piano singing about everything he sees.
Yeah.
That's just Randy Newman singing about what he sees. So.
That is who I was thinking about when we were talking about the template sort of thing, because famously on Mad TV, Will Sasso.
Oh,
Have you
right.
seen
The
have you
Star
seen him
Wars
do that?
thing?
Everything, anything
yeah.
anybody would bring to him.
Yeah.
He would it was basically hammering out the same thing, singing about okay, next. He was just kicking out these Pixar tunes, and that's definitely that little factory there.
Well, there's some value to that. I mean,
Well, sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
Take a look at that dude's checks. I'm sure
Yep.
they're pretty
he's
nice.
doing okay.
I'm sure he does just fine. Eric said, performing my songs in front of people was a terrifying prospect. I've never really done that before. Play songs that are this personal, honest, and sincere. The Whiskey Heart handle was something that I could hide behind, something that I could crawl into for safety. I don't want that anymore. What you see is what you get. Good quote. I love that.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, and I think you got an awesome name.
Oh,
You know what I mean? You were kind of like
yeah.
crapping on it earlier, but I think it's got a good ring to it. It flows nice. You know what I mean? And it's not weird in any way, or awkward. I guess.
Well, the other hard part about Eric Barnett is I'm not the only one.
You're not. You get on YouTube or pull it up online.
Is there a ton?
You Google, and there's a famous musician, well, rather famous. I think he's a studio guy.
Well, there's a phenomenal guitar player in California. I think he plays for a band called Points North, named Eric Barnett. There's a guy from the '60s made reggae music, and you can find all these. Well, they're hard to find actually. All these like 45s with reggae music. Eric Barnett, and then I get a lot of messages. Hey, are you the guy that wrote the theme to Kickboxer 2?
Oh,
and
you
I'm
should be like, yes, I am.
Oh.
You're welcome.
If I could only cash those sweet Kickboxer 2 checks, I would have somebody to answer this for me. But yeah, that's kind of what drove me to the moniker to begin with too. I look online, there's 6 or 7 Eric Barnett. I couldn't even get ericbarnett.com.
No, I saw that. Yeah.
And it's not an Eric Barnett that owns that. It's somebody kind of doing the squatting on the domain names.
Sure.
I went
One of
to
those dudes.
Yeah. I went to actually ask him how can I go about getting myname.com, and he told me that'd be $3,000. And so I told him where he could put my name.
Yeah.
And Eric Barnett music was available, and we're good.
There's a few famous folks that have had to do that. Have to put the real in front of their name or the actual or I'm the one. Now, how have things worked out since then with your stage your stage presence? Is it better, or are you doing shows with your back to the audience, or
do you wear shades?
I don't wear shades, but back to the audience, not anymore.
Yeah.
I find some liquid courage always helps.
There you go. Yeah.
And I'm certainly not a fire juggler, so kind of what you see is what you get. So that cuts down on the venues I can play at a lot, which to me is fine. I do this for me.
Right.
If anybody likes it, I'm happy.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
And it's put me in contact with a lot of people that I get along with. So
Sure. Well, like-minded people.
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Have you ever? Did you start? I think your album came out in January, right?
June.
June. Okay, you said January. I'm sorry. At the
You
beginning.
might have said.
Did I say January?
did.
I'm sorry.
How long have you been doing? Like you mentioned, you started doing shows and then kind of had to take a step back from work.
Yeah.
Or for work. How long you been doing the live gigs?
About 5 years.
5 years. Okay.
I started 5.5 years ago, and when I had that moniker Whiskey Heart, I put out an EP. It was 6 songs, and it was recorded like live onto a handheld recorder in the basement.
Yeah.
It was something I was never real that happy with because I made a few mistakes. It didn't sound that great, and I've always recorded music ever since I was younger, and somebody had a Tascam 4-track, the little cassette, and you could put a guitar down, then you could put another guitar down, another, and a piano, and mess around. So that kind of ruined me. My problem now is I'll write a song, and although I might sit in front of you and play it on an acoustic guitar, I already hear everything else, and that's a real curse, especially
right. Because you bring me in as a piano or a drum player or something, and you expect to hear this certain thing, but I haven't heard that in my head yet.
That makes me hard to work with, and I understand that, and I own, and that's why most of this record I'm playing everything.
Okay.
On this record I'm actually playing the drums and the bass, and I've got a few friends that play on it, and they play things I never could have possibly done or imagined, but.
Now, what do you do if this thing blows up and people want you on a tour? You put a band
play
together?
Myself with a guitar, I guess.
Oh yeah, just a backing track.
I suppose
kind of
if it became incredibly necessary, I could put a band together.
Yeah.
But
now, do you read and write music?
Now, I went to college for it, so I should be able to, but I also went to college I had 4 years of Spanish, and I just know how to ask where the bathroom is.
Yeah.
So if you put music in front of me, I could plunk it out on a piano. I could probably get you through a 3-minute song in 3 hours, but.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. Well, since Cory reminded me that I blew it at the beginning, and I'm so sorry. I want to make sure everybody knows that CD is available the 24th of June.
23rd.
23rd? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. There's a CD release party with Wolf Crier and Ori Rush.
Yeah.
At the 1803 Tap Room in Galleon.
Yes.
We'll talk about that before we close out.
Sure.
But I want to make sure everybody knows that. So June 23rd. Where can they find that?
The album?
Yeah, how can I get my hands on that?
I will have it on iTunes and Amazon and at my website, ericbarnettmusic.com. And also, are you familiar with Bandcamp?
I'm not.
No.
It
sounds awesome, though.
It's an awesome movie.
It's a website kind of created for musicians so they can sell their own stuff online. And
that's cool.
Nobody's swooping in to be the middleman and take the money. So
that's really good.
It'll be available there as well.
How do you get to that? Just bandcamp.com?
That'll probably take
I got to make sure
site.
This is right, but I believe it'll be ericbarnettmusic.bandcamp.com.
Okay.
But if you go to ericbarnettmusic.com and you can't find out how to buy this album, let me know because I'm going to knock you over the head with it at that point.
You'll deliver it?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll show up. Yeah.
Play you a song on your front porch.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I got you. I understand. So the live shows, we kind of joking about that a little bit, but you're feeling more confident, better about playing the live show.
Yeah, little by little.
Yeah. And what does that take? What does that take? Is that something you get used to, or?
Well, I can tell you when I was really playing a lot of shows, I had a friend of mine from Cincinnati. He goes by the moniker Wolf Crier. And if your listeners want to look him up too, he is a phenomenal songwriter. But we did like an 11 show in 10-day tour at some point, and show 9, 10, 11 were spot on. It's like anything, experience and just building muscle memory and getting used to doing something. Everything's scary at first, I guess.
Yeah, I wondered about that before, like one of the mega groups. You can put any group you want in your head that you might have a CD of theirs in your car or in your house. Between gigs or even between tours, if they're practicing, the Stones, the Rolling Stones or folks like that, are they still practicing? You know what I'm saying? Before a tour? No, I mean whenever are these groups on the tour bus practicing songs to make sure they got them, or are they just their practice is night of the night of the show?
I wonder that too. I feel like it's different now. I feel like fame is such a different thing now than it was then. There's paparazzi following you around. Your picture can get on a blog or Instagram or TMZ, and it's being famous is such a big thing now. But growing up, the first thing that got me into music was the Beatles. And if you look at early Beatles, play music was all they did. Mm-hmm. I mean, they even before the first note went on the record, they were playing Hamburg 3 shows a day, and a lot of those albums, 2 or 3 albums, would come out a year. And I feel like they were doing it all the time. And that might have been kind of why they didn't want to do it after a certain period of time. Right. So it's hard to tell.
Yeah. But if you haven't played or if you haven't sung in a while, I would imagine even the best of the best. I'd imagine even Eric Clapton has to, if he goes on hiatus for a summer and then goes back to touring, I'm sure he has to.
I imagine you get rusty, especially if you have to rely on being a really good player like Eric Clapton does. For me, I'm just strumming chords. So,
well, let's talk a little bit about fame then. And fame now. Not that you have not walked through our door saying you want to be famous.
Yeah, this is hypothetical.
I don't want to sell that. Yeah, I don't want to sell you as being that guy who's trying to be famous. You're not. You're doing something you love. Yeah. If you can make a living at it, phenomenal.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
And if people like what you're doing, great. You come off to me as that kind of guy.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So, but let's talk about the difference, and I guess we'll call it the pre-internet or YouTube, and then post YouTube. A guy had to, practice, like crazy. He had to go to a bar or bars. Usually made his own. What do you call it? He was his own manager.
Yeah,
he would have to call the bar, get himself
set up his own gigs.
Right. And you had to bring so many people with you. Now this was going on back when I was a lot younger.
Oh yeah,
you had to guarantee the owner that you were going to bring 50 of your friends, or at least 25 of your friends, or something like that, because you were there to sell beer, is what you were there to do. More than anything. And so you had to go through all that and make your own schedule and just be out there on the road slaving away at it. And now you have Justin Bieber that got on YouTube. I forgot you were a believer.
Are you a believer?
No.
Okay.
I'm saying easy as in you're loose and fast. I mean, I know how he got famous or whatever, but God, he sucks.
I'll go easy. Yeah, but him, what, playing the piano or something, whatever he did. I've heard people talk about his very first YouTube video, and but that's how he became famous, and that's how a lot of folks are getting picked up and getting major labels to sign them.
Yeah, there are still a lot of bands out there trying to bring people to the bars and sell beer, though. Those are still the kind of folks I relate to. Yeah, it's great. The internet's great. It's great that I can be exposed to stuff that I would have never had a chance to see. I mean, growing up right between Gallion and Mount Gilead, Ohio, going to Northmore School, whatever was on the radio is what I got. And I'm lucky that, maybe this is my personal bias, but I'm lucky at that time they played good music on the radio. I feel like that. Yeah, man, I don't want to get here and be judgy and stand on a soapbox, but I feel like I was lucky that I was hearing Pearl Jam and Radiohead and REM and stuff like that on the radio. But going off to college, being exposed to just a band you're never going to hear unless you catch them on YouTube, or a friend says, "Hey, I got this like strange import from Sweden. Check these guys out." And I still identify with those folks more.
You just reminded me of something. I had a couple hardcore friends.
Yeah.
Who were like that when you'd go to back when they had record shops.
Yeah.
You could walk into Tower and they would the most obscure thing they could find. They were like, "What's your newest, most obscure thing that you've got in the shop?" And that's what they'd listen to.
Oh yeah,
That
and
sort of
everybody
thing.
has
just kind of
everybody has to have like one or two the really cool friends that when you go to them, okay, what you got? Give me the weird thing, and they give you the weird thing, and depending on how their taste,
how weird it is.
Yeah. Well, sometimes the weirder stuff is the most interesting. I don't know.
Frank Zappa.
Depends who you are.
Frank Zappa comes to mind when you talk about weird stuff that just seems to come together.
Yeah.
And when you listen to it, the fun part to me is not really listening to Frank Zappa stuff, but listening to like Dweezil, his son, or listening to one of the technicians talk about his thought process of coming up with this idea for this song. That's what amazed me about him. And then you listen to the song and go, wow, that is really something. Where before it just sounded like, somebody sticking a baseball card in bicycle spokes or something like.
And he probably did that.
He experimented with all that.
Yeah,
he did. But you were talking about taste in music, and you mentioned somebody earlier. It is funny how we all do have different tastes, because you said REM.
Yeah.
And that is one just for some reason. And now I have to respect and appreciate them as musicians and as artists. But when an REM song comes on, it's almost instant nausea. You know what I'm saying? It's just like either the lead singer's voice is at this certain frequency that triggers something, or, it could be anything. It could be anything, but I just do not appreciate their stuff. Isn't it funny how taste plays into all that stuff? Cory loves Liberace, anything and everything he's ever done.
Can't even name a Liberace song.
Well,
nothing. I got
trying
nothing
to play it off.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah. I wish I had one. I wish I had a title.
I'd
have thrown that in there.
Yeah.
Damn it.
He was gay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got you there.
I didn't want to be unloading something like that on you.
Dropping a bombshell.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Just me in the corner in tears. Like, what? No. Yeah.
Okay. Let's do some house cleaning stuff here.
Yeah.
Upcoming shows. There's on the 22nd of June, there's a CD listening party at Main Street Books in Mansfield, Ohio. Is that open to the public? Anybody can come?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so write that down. 6/22/17 CD listening party at Main Street Books, Mansfield, Ohio, and then the very next day, on the 23rd, CD release party with your friend Wolf Crier, and Ori Rush at the 1803 Tap Room. That's in Gallion, Ohio. And what are the times on those?
The listening party starts at 6 and it runs to 8. The listening party just going to kind of be playing the record and talking about how I recorded songs and maybe stories behind them and answering any kind of questions. And then the CD release is going to start at 8, and it's probably going to be a pretty big party. So it's just going to run till
whenever
we get thrown out of the place.
Yeah,
it's
nice.
Kind of bittersweet. It's the CD release, and it's also kind of moving to South Carolina. It's our little last hurrah as well.
So okay,
it's looking to be a pretty big bash.
Awesome.
You mentioned Wolf Crier as being your friend who you really appreciate as a musician, so it'll be good to hear him there. Now, Ori Rush.
Ori Rush is a musician from Mansfield, and he's also the artist who did all of the drawings that are going to be on my album, and he's done a lot of drawings for me, and he's a great just all around artist. So I'm happy that he's going to be there too.
That's awesome. So it's gonna be like a show essentially.
Yeah, that's more of a show. Yeah, We're all going to play, but we're going to be doing some heavy lifting, 12 ounces at a time.
And that
that's
album,
right. 12-ounce curls, baby.
That's right.
Sun's out, guns out.
Curls for the girls. Shipwreck in a Bottle is the name of the album. Eric started out playing the trumpet in grade school.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I just have a giant appreciation for anybody that can play an instrument to begin with, because I can't. or I haven't tried it. Let's put it that way. So yeah, it's awesome for me to see somebody who's like proficient at that.
Oh.
Not him.
No,
never him.
I was just gonna say
But,
he never said. Every time I pick up a guitar, he goes, "You suck.
Well,
You suck."
do you have fun?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
then
not
that's-
when somebody say you suck and throwing rocks at you.
Well, I have fun playing basketball, and I suck at it. So.
I'm not built for basketball or anything.
Power forward, man, all day.
Hard picks, man.
That's right. Feed the post. I have a question about. I'm just kind of curious. When you first started, I'm sure, you said you write most of your own stuff. You had a friend help with one song you said on the album.
Yeah. Yep.
And then, or a co-wrote with you.
Yeah.
Do you do most of your own like production as well, like post-production stuff where you're doing editing, or is that something that you kind of do or have a team or friends that help with that as far as setting up the album or anything? Or
Actually, what I really went to college for was audio recording.
okay,
So on this record and pretty much everything else I've done all the recording. I do the mixing. This time I sent it off to get the mastering done. It's always good to have another person with
Sure.
fresh ears get a hold of it. I took it to a guy named Don Grossinger. So he's actually mastered the Rolling Stones and
wow.
Man.
REM.
Yeah.
So you felt that it was in good hands. Then,
Yeah, I felt like it wasn't going to get any worse.
Sure.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I wasn't going to tell this story at all, but when Eric got here, he had to set up the mics and the
That doesn't
cables
surprise
and all
me.
That's just me being hard to work with again.
Yeah, no, that was real easy. I sat here and watched him hook everything up that I should.
You want to do you want to have him do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So someone could hear him.
I just think it's being picky on my end. Show up. Okay, let me tell you how this is going to go.
Now we know we know. Yeah, you sit there, big man, and you ask the questions.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
We know because we started in a wet, dank, nasty, spider.
I call it the rape cave because that's what it looked like.
It was the rape cave.
All right.
Think basement from Silence of the Lambs.
Yep.
That's all you got.
One microphone sitting in between us, sitting way too close to each other,
Yep.
talking into the microphone at the same time. I could smell what he had for breakfast.
Usually bacon.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah. What are your
That's what you
salted
do.
meats?
That's what you do.
Your salted meats.
You know what I
really
mean?
get
This
you
is
through the day.
America.
It does.
If you don't like
Thank
bacon,
Thank you.
I don't know what to tell you.
But he hates chickens. That's a whole. You don't know
Roosters.
anything about that. Rooster specifically.
One in
He
particular.
killed.
Okay.
It's a whole
He
thing.
killed my rooster.
I did
Bob,
not.
But
Well, maybe.
we don't
Can't
need to
prove
get
it.
Eric involved. We
Can't
need to
prove
get him going. But we moved up from the basement to this that we have now, which brings me to your situation. How did you record everything, like physically you're recording? Do you have a studio? Did you go to a studio or you set your own up?
Well, I don't have. I've got a basement, and I always wanted to turn it into a studio. Just never had the time. I, wanted to get the wonderful, foam on the walls and get the sound all tamed and get everything just right. But working like I did, I just never had the time.
And you don't know any Amish guys.
Correct.
You don't
yeah.
have any Amish friends.
Yeah. So, and I recorded a lot of the same way you're recording right now. I had a laptop and an audio interface and microphones, and just built the songs up a little bit at a time. And actually, I like to take the laptop out and just mix different places. I did a lot of the mixing in South Carolina in my buddy's basement. And
Really? Yeah.
I've recorded in a studio a few times, and it certainly gets results. It certainly sounds great, but when you're paying for time in a
Right.
studio, you sit in front of that microphone and it's get it right now,
Yeah.
because time is money. And I mean, the nice thing about recording it myself and recording it in my basement is if a song just isn't working, I can just go upstairs and play Xbox or something. It's
Right.
And-
Take that break. You got to walk away.
And that's also why this album took 4 months to record, because I procrastinate
right.
quite a bit.
Right. Yeah. You said that you play your own instruments.
Yeah.
What are all were involved? Drums, I would imagine. Or?
Yeah, I played acoustic, electric, bass guitar. I've got an upright bass, like the big violin doghouse bass. Yeah, drum set. I've got a drum machine on one song that came off the iPad, just an amp.
Oh, okay.
Like various tambourines and shakers and xylophones and just stuff.
Any triangle work in there at all? No?
No triangle work on this one. I would have had to call in a studio musician for that one. And the budget.
Yeah. That's a union.
That's a tough one to tame, too. You know what I mean? Got to hit that thing just right.
Is there one instrument that you start with? Like if you started to record a song today from beginning to finish, do you lay down bass first, guitar first?
The method that worked for me the best is I would start out to like a click track, and I would lay down just guitar and vocals to kind of give you the layout of the song. But I call those are called scratch guitar and vocals. Generally you don't keep them when you're done, but you lay that down to the click, and then the first thing I like to do is drums. You know, if you can get the drums right, you have a lot better chance of getting the song right. It all relies on the groove and everything being in time. So I would put the drums down on top of that scratch track and click track, and then you can kind of build everything up from there. Acoustic guitar, bass, and eventually you get to the point where you put your vocal on. Then you can take that click track out, you know, the click track and the scratch track, so the guitar and vocal, and then you got a song on your hands. So
now, click track is basically a metronome.
Yeah, basically.
Correct. Yeah. Just that keeps a certain beat.
Yep. It's kind of hard to play to sometimes. Yeah. I've never practiced to a metronome. To get real good, a lot of those guys, they're practicing with metronomes, man. They're getting to where a million notes a minute and everything, but
that's not me.
Yeah, it's hard to do. It's hard to play to a click. One song, actually, the song I played at the beginning of the podcast, I recorded those scratch tracks to a metronome, went back and listened, and I was all over the place, man. I wasn't the way I had to record those drums was just to a metronome, thinking the song in my head, because my scratch track was so out of whack.
Really?
Yeah, some people can do it. Some people walk into a studio, and we call them one-take wonders, man. They go in, they knock out a take, and I wish I was one of those people.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I can't imagine. Everything's hard for us.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking, like you say, you kind of overlay all those different instruments for the album. When you perform live, is it just you with the guitar?
Yes.
Up there? So it's kind of like not really unplugged, I guess, but sort of.
Yeah, it's acoustic. Yeah. Yep.
That's pretty cool.
I've got a buddy that'll play that upright with me every now and then, but for the most part, it's myself. Yep.
That's awesome.
And that's how you can tell when you're dealing with a musician and not just one of these YouTube sensations. Is a guy, a guitar, and a microphone. No tricks. No special software.
And he doesn't have to split the money either.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
very true.
Yeah, it's economical as well.
Yeah. But I always appreciate that. You can tell talent
sure
by that, you know. And you don't even have to, if somebody else plays the guitar while you sing, but if just that basic guitar singer combination is
I figure that's got to be hard enough as it is, because if you're sitting there singing, that's one specific task, let alone trying to play guitar at the same time. I feel like that's got to be kind of a learned thing in a way.
Yeah, well, yeah. Once you learn guitar to get to a certain level and get to where you can sing along with it, I don't know. To me, that comes natural. But at the same time, my buddy Matt goes by Wolfcrier. We mentioned he does the thing where he's got the harmonica in the holder, Bob Dylan style.
Yeah.
I can't even begin to do that.
Play a guitar.
Oh, sure.
Play the harmonica.
Play the harmonica. Sing. Just nope.
I couldn't even do. I don't even know if I could do piano and sing. With the concentration you have to have left hand concentration, right hand.
It blows my mind. I mean, I have no idea what it takes to end up doing that or being at a certain level, but to watch somebody that's proficient at it and really good, it's it gives you goosebumps, when you're when they're doing their thing.
It does.
Pretty cool stuff.
You're right. So outside of the I'm sorry, got my notes all mixed up here, buddy. Outside of the CD listening party and the CD release party, any other shows lined up that you want people to know about?
Nothing planned right now. Got the move coming up, so
Right.
going to kind of get that all figured out, and then.
So that's definitely happening. Then that's we're not just thinking about that. You're heading to.
My wife's already down there.
Okay.
We've got an apartment lined up for a couple weeks from now, and I'm actually moving everything and then coming back up and kind of staying for another month to get the CD out and kind of do a last tour, seeing everybody and
Good.
all that stuff.
And then you get to do this again in South Carolina.
Yeah, kind of fresh start.
I have a kind of a question.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a kind of a question; it's a question. When would you consider? I mean, it sounds like most of the stuff that you do is sort of like solo, as far as setting up shows and things like that. Would you ever consider, or have you considered, or worked with anybody else as far as like doing a tour kind of thing, or?
You know, like a duet, someone singing with him.
No, like he'd be a headliner, right? And then have openers and stuff, kind of like you would at a concert, right?
Yeah.
Well,
like that type of thing.
That tour I did with Wolf Crier, we kind of set it up that way. We'd kind of flip a coin each night who was going to go on first and who was going to play last. And depending if we played in his town, he was headline. If we played in mine, I was.
Just ask him, Cory. Can we open for you?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I don't know if you'd want that.
Anytime.
I mean,
there's nothing like a live podcast show to open up
just to piss everybody off before all the musicians come on.
Yeah,
you all just hammered, just booing us off stage.
By the time you come on, though, all the beer will have been thrown.
Oh, sure.
So okay.
Yeah, you should be. You're gonna have to sweep a little bit.
Yeah. Right on.
You want to stab
Need a Roadhouse chicken wire situation.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Jeff, and I got a boot knife, so don't worry about that.
Yeah. Yeah, this goes along with his. It's kind of where the direction I thought he was heading. Is there anyone out there that you've done a duet with? You seem to have that kind of voice that, like, if the right, and I'm going to say girl, it doesn't have to be girl, but for some reason that's in my head.
Sure.
The right female singer came along, it just seems like yours would probably mesh really nice with someone else. Have you had that yet?
I'd like to. I really would like my wife to.
Does she dabble? Does she sing or play with you at all?
No, I don't know how I can say this without just being honest. I'd really like it if my wife were a better singer and then she'd be that person.
You want a better wife.
No,
is what I hear you saying right now. Okay, that
How?
was Eric Barnett, ladies and gentlemen. Once
I'm not going to let you throw him under the bus like that.
If anybody has a couch that I could sleep on.
For the
funny you mentioned that.
Yeah.
That thing also folds out.
Yeah, speaking of which, Jim, I'm moving in here.
Yeah, I will now be the third guest from the couch on every episode of B Team.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. But yeah, it just seems that way. That
I would love to do it.
Nice.
For some reason in my head, it'd be weird if it wasn't my wife.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, it's especially if it were some kind of lovey-dovey song. But
sure.
But yeah, I would love to do more kind of working with people. And
you didn't mention Garth Brooks.
I didn't.
Is it because he's insane, or you just don't like his music? G. He calls himself G now.
He calls himself. He's not that. Who's that Chris guy?
G.
Who is that?
Chris
other
Gaines.
Guy? Chris Gaines.
Chris Gaines.
So he's
I'm not familiar with
it's
Gaines.
just the gay version of.
Has he split off into a third person now?
I don't know. No, he's just G.
Just G.
He's
now.
saying happy birthday to himself. I saw the video.
Nice.
Yeah,
Good for
happy
him.
birthday to G.
The artist.
When you got that kind of money,
formerly
bro,
known as Garth
doesn't
Brooks
matter.
is now G. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's gone. He's
Okay.
I don't know if it's money that does that or if it's.
I'd like to find out.
Yeah. How we doing on time, sir? I promised him I wasn't going to keep him here.
We're there.
forever.
We have 59 minutes. So
Okay. Well, I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping here while Eric sets up. You're going to do a song for us to
Sure.
go out, Eric? Would you
Yeah.
please? All right. Tweaked Audio. Tweaked Audio buds and headphones. Key features: they have 7 styles, 6 colors. There's mic'd and non-mic'd versions available for all you gamers out there.
Gamers, man. Yeah. So if you want to talk shit, get you that mic'd headset.
They're designed to sound great for music and talk. They have a noise-reducing design compatible with iPods, iPhones, Android devices, all MP3 players, and most phones. Get this. You give them our discount code, you get 33% off every order.
That's a third.
33% off. You're paying a third for high-quality
You're only paying
earbuds and headphones.
You're getting a third off.
Yeah.
You said you're paying a third.
Oh,
yeah, you're misleading people. You're just effing everything up.
Yeah.
Messing up
Well,
dates of releases for albums and shit.
I'm excited
Yeah,
about
losing
supposed to be a professional.
I'm excited about having Eric here today. I'm losing sponsors. Thank you, Eric. 33% off for our listeners if you use the discount code BTEAM, and free shipping. And if that weren't enough, lifetime warranty on everything.
That's new.
Go to
I didn't hear about
Tweaked
that.
Audio.
That's awesome.
Yeah, lifetime warranty. Tweakedaudio.com. Use the discount code BTEAM. That's all lowercase BTEAM for your 33% off. Tweaked Audio sounds better. Amazon.com. Do you shop on the Amazon, Cory?
I do. I dabble.
Everyone does. Go to our homepage, the BTEAM with CoryandJim.com. Go to the bottom of that page, click on our Amazon banner, log into your Amazon account. It won't cost you any extra
money. And then
money.
throw Eric's album into your shopping cart.
Boom.
Absolutely.
And check out.
Yes.
That's all you need to do.
That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. Now, are you ready to go, Eric?
I am.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Barnett to close us out.
She's a shipwreck in a bottle. She's lightning in a jar. She's pulling on the strings to this heart. She's the furnace and the fire, the shovel and the coal. She's a slow sip of whiskey to my soul. She's the lightning and the thunder, the rumble and the quake. She's moonlight's mirror image on the lake. She's the giver and the taker, the maker and the mold. She's a slow sip of whiskey to my soul. She comes on like a fever. She leaves just like a dream. She's the thread and she's the needle, and she's the seam. She can cut just like a razor, but I hang on every word. And every breath that I pull into my lungs, I breathe for her. She's my sail and my anchor, the sea and she's the shore. She's the part of me that I spend my life looking for. Found my needle in a haystack, and I will never let her go. She's a slow sip of whiskey to my soul. She's a slow sip of whiskey to my soul.
Outstanding. Thank you.
That's how you write a song, folks.
That's how that's done. EricBarnettMusic.com. All I ask you to do is love somebody.
Thanks for listening. If you like what you heard, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Point 19 Productions, and to our podcast through iTunes or Stitcher. As always, we ask you help support the show by liking, commenting, and sharing our content. For up-to-date information regarding the B Team, head to thebteamwithcoryandjim.com.